So how does one test the waters with a spiritual director? Where does one begin? What questions are important to ask in selecting a spiritual director? In this video tutorial, we'll receive some practical insight from other noted Christian spiritual directors.
I do lead group direction. I think that's often a great place for people to experience it because group direction has sort of the feel of a small group, and lots of us have that experience of maybe being in a smaller group where you're having conversation. So that's a great place to test the water. Just meeting with a director too can be helpful. There are lots of retreat centers in the country that provide like 24-hour retreats where you can go and there's some workshops and things to learn and maybe a little space. Those are great ways to test the water.
I encourage people to go ahead and try it once because most spiritual directors will do the first session for free. And the other thing I encourage is if the first one was not a good fit, potentially try another spiritual director because you do need a good connection with the spiritual director. You need to feel like they hear you, they understand you, they want to walk alongside you.
I think some of the questions you may want to ask, first just getting to know them a little bit, even their own spiritual journey, but find out where they have been trained. That will give you an idea of a place that you can research as far as what kind of training that they may have received. I would ask such things as, do you have a code of ethics? What is your communion with God? What does it look like?
And that's why when I meet with the directee for the first time, we talk a lot about the value of confidentiality. Whatever they tell me stays in the room. It never goes out. I don't take that story out to anybody else. So they at least know that that's a high value that hopefully will give them some freedom to talk about things that they otherwise would not talk about.
So if someone is really wanting to test the water, they don't have to necessarily be nervous about the process. Is that an encouragement to those who might be hesitant?
Absolutely. And for them to know that there's no expectations. Too many people come, I spend usually 1 or 2 times, just alleviating some of the fears of, what do I need to bring to spiritual direction? Will I have the right answers? None of that. It's to put that aside. The Spirit will reveal what the Spirit will reveal. You have someone that is creating time and a safe space for the Holy Spirit to come in and to co-listen with you. So a lot of it is just decreasing some fears and being in relationship and knowing that there's somebody there, that your spiritual journey is very important. And what God is doing and saying within you, what He is doing and how He's connected to all your experiences is important for your life direction and for your calling.
One consistent response we've observed is, be willing to try a spiritual direction session or 2. Remember, God has placed that longing within you, so don't allow anxiousness to stop you. It's perfectly normal to have questions and some apprehension. Most spiritual directors expect the first session or 2 to be a time to answer your questions, to communicate expected boundaries, and to reinforce the importance of confidentiality, and to allow time for you and them to feel comfortable with each other. It's entirely appropriate for you to ask questions of the director. Where did you receive your training? Do you have a code of ethics? What spiritual practices encourage you in your own communion with God? What expectations do you have of me? After the first session or 2, ask yourself, did I sense there was a good connection? Was I listened to? Did I feel cared for? Did I feel safe? Remember, You're not committing yourself to a situation that you can't get out of if you're not comfortable. There are numerous ways to locate a spiritual director. Ask your pastor or priest. Inquire from someone you may know who is receiving or has received direction. This ministry is also a valuable resource that can help introduce you to spiritual directors in your area. I'm Richard Parrish reminding you, wherever you are, whatever you face, God desires to be with you.